A lot of perception of the nation's pension system is that it is like a maze. Think of the benefits, contributory schemes, gratuities, monthly payouts, and the need to coordinate all these segments effectively. In the Niger Delta, the pain points are clear: delayed payments, opaque schedules, endless audits, and little access to for retirees in riverine communities. What would it take to make pensions predictable every month? What would it take to make these payments come on time with other packs and transparency built in, especially considering the fact that the persons involved have contributed so much to everything that is working currently in the country? Well, joining us to unpack the problems and the possible fixes are some elder citizens in the studio. Join us live. We have the State Secretary, Akwa, Ibom, and UP, Obong Cosmos Essien. Thank you very much for coming on the program.
Thank you too.
Yes, we also have in the studio Treasurer, Akwa Ibom State, NUP, Bishop Imeh Udoh. Thank you for coming on the program.
Thank you.
Yes, I'll start with you, Obong Cosmos. In recent times, we've heard of protests among pensioners, and their grievances are usually the same thing, from what we know. Delayed payments of their gratuity. Sometimes they go for years without receiving these entitlements, and it is really saddening to know that someone has given almost a very huge chunk of their years on earth to the service of the country, to the state, whichever the case might be, and then receiving their entitlements becomes a problem. Well, how have you appraised the issue, the incidence of pensioners' welfare in the country and in the Niger Delta region holistically?
Thank you very much for this concern. And going into the situation of pensioners in the state, and the issue of pension in existence is a question which emanated from the colonial areas. When the colonial masters were ruling Nigeria before independence, and the question of pension came in so that they could get something to get home. And that system, nobody contributed, and they call it defined benefit. And from that on, the question of paying pension went on, and the number of civil servants were significantly low, and they could government could weather properly the few they had. But now, as the number of pensioners become greater and the life expectancy become elongated than ever before, so that we have many pensioners now, which the government on many areas do not feel to cope with it. And that was why in the era of Obasanjo, he started contributory, which did not augur well for the set of pensioners in that area. But at the moment, despite the number from Nigeria Union of Pensioners was established 1978. He started to fight for the welfare of pensioners. And now, with the challenges facing the union, is to pressurize government to pay the pensioners as and when due. And it is only on recent times that the situation is trying to be amicably getting through. Before then, pensioners had been staying uh, for years after retirement, and then that came was very prevalent up to 2014,
Okay.
so that we could have arrears of pensions. But union struggle to cause government to do straight transfer with the new technology, transfer from salary payroll into pension payroll, and that took that took union 8 years to fight with the government before they could adopt it in the year 2016. And from that time, the era people had been staying after retirement 2 years, 3 years before they were given pension, tried to fade away. And then from 2016, now there is a straight transfer from pension salary payroll into pension payroll, and that tend to reduce the problem on many occasions. But coming to Akwa Ibom, the payment had been smooth, not until April this year, when they did verification of all pensioners, and they say that consultants were sent away, and therefore we experienced delay payment, and also delay check-up dues release, and that makes the running of the union to be difficult. And with the economy of Nigeria, many of our members, when they are not paid at the end of the month, many will find it difficult to survive, and complaints that on.
All right.
So we are still fighting on that area and try to let government see the reason why the payment should be paid as and when due without further delay.
All right, Obong customers. So I'll come to you, Treasurer Akwa Ibom State NUB, Bishop Imeh Udoh.
Yes.
Well, Obong customers has taken time to reel out some level of history regarding pensioners and their experience in Nigeria. I'd like you to bring us up to speed with some further insights regarding the experience of pensioners here in Akwa Ibom State. I understand that the Akwa Ibom State Governor, Pastor Moino, has been doing a lot when it comes to offsetting the backlog of monies owed to pensioners and all of that. And would you agree that this work that has been done by the government is going far towards ensuring that the persons owed are being paid?
Exactly. I want to thank you for your concern. In the first instance, what the Pastor Basu Omano is doing with the pensioners, we appreciate. If the other governors were doing that, it would have been a different issue by now. But we still have 3 issues at stake. For example, upon all the releases by His Excellency the Governor to the primary school sector, the head is the chairman of primary, Subeb. We want to ask, there is a question there. How are you managing this money? We are still in 2013, whereas the committee that was set up some times ago, and Obong Essien, as you have seen him, he was a member on behalf of the Nigeria Union of Pensioners. The payment was very smooth, not until that committee was dissolved by a body that is still yet to be known by the union. And apart from that, we also thank the management of the Accountant General of the state, the Head of Service, for paying the civil pensioners up to 2020, the local government area up to 2020. But we have another stake at hand. That is the issue of a harmonization to pensioners, the review of the, there was a law, the 1999 Constitution, specified that every 5 years, pension has to be reviewed. Salary and Wages Commission have reviewed and recommended 20% increase to all pensioners in Nigeria, particularly Akwa Ibom State, and that is not yet implemented. There is a circular in respect of 32,000. That is what the union is on with the state government of Akwa Ibom State. We are pleading with Pastor Mano. He's a very good governor. He's a father. He's a pastor by religion. To implement with effect from that November 2024 that was approved by him. That is where we are now.
All right. Well, Obong, Cosmos, Essien, when we look at the pension environment here in Akwa Ibom State and the efforts that have been put in place by the current administration of Pastor Moino, where will you rate the efforts at offsetting the monies owed currently? Is the government moving as fast as it says it is moving, or there's still enough work left to be done? Are the pensioners happy with the pace of payments of owed monies to them?
Thank you very much. Pensioners are not happy when there is a delay. Excuse me. And while we thank Governor Umeno for the spontaneous payment of gratuity and injected a lot of money into paying the gratuity, and we still appeal to him to look into the situations whereby federal circulars should be respected. And during this process of this economy, federal government and Salary and Wages Commission try to alleviate the problem of pensioners and then issue circular for the payment of a sum ranging from 10,000 upward to different category of pensioners from level 1 to 17 and called consequential adjustment. And then they put out a circular and issue the state government with that circular. And then pensioners are aware of this. Then last year was the feed year, as my colleagues has already said, for review of pensions, and it was reviewed. Pension was reviewed in 2024 by 20%, and circular was issued and saved the government, and that government received the circular and has not acted upon it. And when the minimum wage of 70,000 came to be, and circular was also issued to pay 32,000 in lieu of that, in accordance with the Constitution, to the pensioners, and that is yet to be paid. That one had effect from November 2024 till now. Now, that has not been implemented. With every passing day, months, additional month will add. And then we are afraid that if this is not implemented by Akwa Ibom, the years will continue to increase, and the arrears will be very big, and government may complain that the arrears is big, it cannot pay. Therefore, we take this opportunity to call on His Excellency to consider the pensioners who are very weak and relying on this money, to consider paying these increases given by Salary and Wages Commission. And in the whole, we thank Gomoeno for implementing minimum pension of 20,000 to pensioners, and that had alleviated the problem of pensioners who had before earning 1,500 per month. Well, and therefore, we thank him for that. But he should add more to honoring the seculars
that have been released. Okay, I was going to quickly add, are there instances of other states within the Niger Delta region that have started paying these increments?
In the South, to be very precise, Delta State had already completed that payment. And Bayelsa had already completed the payment of all that I have enumerated. And Udoh was trying to pay some part and was on the verge of completing all.
All right.
And so forth. In the South, most of the other states outside South had already been paying this to their pensioners, like Udoh or Ondo. They had already paid all that I have enumerated to their pensioners.
All right. I'll come to you for your parting shot, Treasurer, Akwa State, and your people. Well, in reality, and from all of these issues that have been put at the front burner, how would you appraise the pension scheme across the Niger Delta region, not just in Akwa Ibom State now? What do you think are those steps that can be taken towards ensuring that the pensioners have better welfare? You know, when we want to borrow from international best practices and how persons who have worked up to the years that you have given into the system, what do you think are those better steps that can be taken towards ensuring that pensioners have it more better in the country?
Thank you very much. If the state government implement all the federal circulars, the welfare of the pensioner will be improved in Akwa Ibom State. As my colleagues have said, in the Niger, the South, about 3 states have improved the welfare of their pensioners.
Okay.
And we want to plead with the state government to emulate from other states by implementing all the harmonization circular, the 20% circular, and the 32,000 circular. And that will improve the welfare of the pensioners in Akwa Ibom State. They are listening. They know what we are talking about. That's the position we are fighting now.
Okay, thank you very much. Obong Cosmos, Essien State Secretary, Akwa Ibom, NUV. Thank you very much for coming on Niger Delta today.
Thank you.
I must also thank you, Bishop Imeh, Udoh, Treasurer, Akwa Ibom State NUP, for coming on the program.
Thank you very much.
All right.